What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you will receive a notification every time that I drop a video, and you can go and like the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Get involved in the channel, help me grow the channel, help me grow the movement if you support me and the Go Up movement, the State Free People movement. Also, a couple of people have asked in the comments, how do they become members? They don't see the join button on my channel for the membership. So I'm going to say this. I said it a couple of times before, and I'll say it every few videos or so. Not to beg for memberships, but just because people are not understanding how to become a member. From my understanding, Apple, which is iPhone, asks YouTube to give them a cut of the money in order for them to put the join button on the iPhones for the membership. YouTube refused and said, we ain't giving you none of the money for that. So Apple said, well, we ain't going to have the join button on there. So if you have an iPhone, you don't have a join button on there for the membership. Only the Android, and you have to go to a computer. Or if you have an iPhone, you have to go to desktop, and your settings on the features go to desktop. That way your phone sort of turns into a computer, and then go to YouTube, and you'll see the join button for the membership. If you have an iPhone, go to desktop first. And for you all who are not members yet, join and become a member. I'm about to have some very hot exclusive content for my members only. Don't miss out. Let's get into it. This incident, this story takes us to the Los Angeles County Jail. This was 2015. The module was 22-2400. I was typically on 26-2800, which was a level 8. I'll get into the levels if necessary later. They had dropped my level, and I went down to a level 7, so they moved me to 22-2400. I took over the module immediately. I was pretty much running the 2000 floor at the time, regardless of what module I was in. I had juice on the whole floor. And so they put me in a cell with a Crip dude upstairs from one of them far out Crip sets, like liquor store Crip or something like that. And he was about 6'1". He was a big dude and about 220 pounds. But he was cool. We used to chop it up late night about our cases. I was careful what I told him though, but I had to get some of the stuff off of my chest. And this is the sort of stuff that we did inside of the cells in the Los Angeles County Jail, getting input from people that we were okay with about our cases or what have you. We sit there and chop it up or what have you. And I began to take a liking to him. However, he was addicted to that Christina Aguilera, the Jennifer Aniston, the Angelina Jolie, the white girl. And as I said before, that's really an epidemic now behind the walls, where even blacks are messing pretty tough with that Jennifer Aniston. Some are even messing with that Kelly Rowland, that Beyonce. They are. I'm just telling you what it is. And so when you're messing with that Jennifer Aniston, I've seen it enough. I don't like any of this stuff, because growing up, all of that stuff right there, that contraband, it sort of contributed to ruining my childhood, or for me not having the childhood that I could have and should have had. And so I've always really been opposed to any of that sort of stuff. I don't mess around, and I don't like it around me. But it is what it is. I was dealing in myself in there, so I couldn't be a hypocrite. But when people get off of it, particularly at Jennifer Aniston, they begin to hallucinate. I've seen it. The boy YC, I've seen so many incidents there in the county jail with dudes hallucinating off of this stuff because they stand up for 3 and 4 days at a time, sometimes 5 and 6 days. They just keep doing it and keep staying up. And when you have sleep deprivation, which is sensory deprivation, you begin to hallucinate after so long. And I've seen it. One day I was walking down a tier right there in 2800, and the boy YC from 8 Trade Gangster was in the first cell on the top tier. And I passed by. I'm coming out to work. I'm the porter. I passed by. He got a sheet hanging up on his bars, and he's tightening up the sheet. Little short dude. I told you about the dude already that got caught stealing and got lit up. Well, he has a sheet tied up. I said, "What's all this, bro? What you on? What's this, YC?" He said, "Oh, man, he mumbling, but I can hear him. Oh, man, I don't know, man. I can tell he off the stuff, the Jennifer Aniston. He had a propensity to do it." And he's mumbling, and he's talking about, "Oh, I'm about to go, man. I see you on the other side." No, you ain't about to see me on the other side. You ain't about to see me on no damn other side. No, the hell you ain't. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen these dudes hallucinating and tripping. Now, my celly, so far, he's messing with this stuff every day, but he's been cool. There's been no incidents. I made my feelings known that I ain't really like this stuff around me like that. With people, not people using it, because I've seen too much when they get off of it. They're not in their right minds oftentimes. But as long as you can take care of yourself and handle your business, I've also seen that. Some homies that use it or whatever, and they never begin to hallucinate. They're not addicted. They don't give up every last suit that they have for the stuff. They're functioning properly. So I've seen both sides. So he told me that he was a G at doing this stuff. He'd been doing it for years, and that it would be no problem. Okay, I took him at his word. Well, a few days after we had this discussion, at about 3 o'clock in the morning, as I'm lying down in my bunk, minding my own business, sleeping peacefully, even though I'm in there under the gun, I hear my celly over there mumbling, and then he got louder, and he started talking about, "Man, them dudes down there talking about I'm gay." I said, "Man, who said you gay, bro?" He woke me up now. So I get up, I said, "Man, who said you gay?" Now, I ain't caught on at first that he tripping. I'm thinking maybe somebody said, I ain't hear nothing though. So he like, "Man, listen, man, they down there talking about I'm gay." But it's quiet on the tier. It's about 3 in the morning. Ain't nobody saying nothing. And the county jail is real hollow when it's quiet. Real spooky and dark, like you walking down Skid Row. And no one was up. This was not a late night. No one was up saying anything outside of the bars. He's just tripping. And when I told him to get up, and I looked, I said, "Man, you tripping, bro. Ain't nobody saying nothing, man. Lay down, man. God, I told you, man. I didn't want this kind of stuff." I said, "I told you, bro." So now, the young homies downstairs, they heard the commotion. And they got up and they woke up and they say, "Big bro, you straight?" I said, "Yeah, I'm straight, man. This dude up here tripping." You know what I'm saying? He like, "Man, I ain't tripping." Woo. So then I grabbed him and threw him on the bunk when he said that, because he tripping. And I know now he really is in line to start something if I don't correct this immediately. So I threw him on the bunk, but I ain't put my hands on him. I didn't beat him up at the time. And I told him, "Bro, you tripping. You need to calm down. Ain't nobody down there talking about you gay. You know what I'm saying? You off this Jennifer Aniston, and now you losing your damn mind. You hallucinating." He swore up and down that he was not hallucinating, that someone had been calling him gay. And so, okay, fine. He finally agreed to lay down and try to sleep it off. So I laid back down myself. He's still over there mumbling a little bit loud. I'm thinking about getting up and getting this dude, but I kind of like the dude. He's straight. He's a strong dude. Really, as far as I'm concerned, this is really his only weakness. But he's intelligent. We've sat down and chopped it up for hours at times. And I'm not predisposed to put my hands on my people, particularly unnecessarily. However, some things have to happen for the greater good of my people. Some people have to be getting rid of for the greater good of the whole community. That's just the way it is. I sensed that this was one of those situations on the horizon. And the next morning, he had only come down some because, again, they be off this stuff geeked for days. So this is just a few hours later. I'm thinking he's okay for us to have a conversation about what transpired earlier that morning and how that can never happen again. And once again, he agreed. I took him at his word foolishly. Should have really got rid of him then, but it really wasn't discipline worthy. I could have justified getting him disciplined. I could also justify not having him disciplined because he hadn't directed it at anyone in particular. He's just yelling outside of the cell, geeking and tweaking. However, a couple of days later, the Southsiders were coming down a tier, passing out lunch. 2 of them. And they stopped at the cell next door. And then when they finished passing out lunch next door, they came to my cell. And he said, when they came to the cell, man, those the fools right there that said I was gay. And then he said that he heard them a few cells down, talking about the 2 Southsiders right here in front of my cell. He heard them having sex. A few cells down. They're not even a few cells down, bro. They somewhere in the other side of the module. So now he's disrespecting another race. He's disrespecting the Southsiders, essentially accusing them of being gay. But even they said, when he said it, they said, man, he tripping. He tripping off that shit. I said, yeah, man, they could tell. You know what I'm saying? But still, that doesn't excuse it, bro. They just understood that he was tripping, but certainly they still want this taken care of. Now, at this juncture, I have no choice but to bust his head open myself, because it's one thing to tell the Southsiders, oh, I'll take care of it. And then they walk off and they come back. I can say, oh, yeah, I took care of it, but never laid a hand on him. I really want to demonstrate that this situation is going to be rectified immediately. However, I'm hesitant because I don't like putting my hands on my people in front of other races. But he's just disrespected this other race. And again, I need to take care of business. And so that's what I did. I had no choice but to turn around and let go of one of these Hail Marys. And I turned around and I fired this shit up. And I dropped him on the ground. And when I dropped him, I went over there and I hit him a couple more times. Right in front of the Southsiders, I did. And he started leaking about the mouth area. And the young homies yelled up, big bro, you straight? They heard the commotion. And they knew what had just happened because he's yelling again. And I told him, yeah, I'm straight, bro. I said, but look, I'm finna get my cell popped and come down there and holler at y'all right now. This dude got to go. And I said it right there so he can hear it. They said, all right, big bro, let us know what's up. Again, I got to get my cell open just like that. Boom. Now, yeah, pop my cell. And the po-po popped my cell. I'm hot, bro. I'm running downstairs to tell the homies. Only thing I'm thinking is, should I have these dudes use a blammer on this dude or not? That's the only thing I'm thinking, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because he tripping, disrespecting the other race like this. But had he disrespect some blacks like this too, I'd have felt the same way. Because I done already warned you. We'd already had this conversation. And you said that you was cool. But I understand, bro, when you're off of that stuff and when you're addicted, what they say cannot be trusted. Not that they are not stand-up men and or women. They can be stand-up and have high values and high character. But once that stuff gets a hold of you, it dilutes your strength and dilutes your character. And therefore, if you're on any of that stuff, that Kelly Rowland, that Beyonce, that Jennifer Aniston, anyone that's listening, I would encourage you right now to get off of it. You don't need it, and you can do it. You're strong enough to get off of it. It ruins lives. It ruins people's lives. It ruins families. It ruins communities. And it's not worth it. And you're strong enough to surmount it and overcome it, and you're worth it. I want you to know that. Getting back to this guy, I ran downstairs enraged. And I told the homies I was in the cell, he gotta go. But I ain't want to just send the Hoovers at him, because I was already accused sometimes in the county jail of sending the Hoovers to put in certain missions that they didn't necessarily have to do. The blacks also knew and gave me credit for being fair and for circumventing violence. Violence is always a last resort in my mind. I don't like violence unless it's absolutely necessary. And so I told the homies, and just get a couple more blacks, I'm going to get my cell hit. Y'all go up there and whoop him good. The young homie, who let's say was trigger happy. I wasn't surprised at the question when he said, "Big bro," and he showed me the thing. Is this one of those situations? Can I take this? Can I do it? I said, "Nah, man, y'all just smash him pretty good, no weapons, and drag him up out my cell and throw him on a tier." I only did that because I didn't want the police to pass by and do a count or whatever and see him laid out leaking in my cell like I did it before I left or something. So I said, y'all do what y'all got and drag his ass out. They got cameras though now in the county jail on the tier. But they not about to go look at the cameras. They don't care. And I told the police, they already knew what was going on. They had heard the commotion. They had heard him yelling out. They're accustomed to this sort of thing, and they're accustomed to seeing people get their ass whooped and get ran up out the module. This happens on a daily basis. So I told the police, hit my cell. And they cracked my cell. And the young homies and some other blacks, they ran in there. Because the dude was a big dude. So about 4 or 5 dudes, they did go in there on him. And I passed by a couple times just to make sure they wasn't using the weapon. They had weapons just in case he had one. Because sometimes you can go and you can go to do a DP and remove someone from the module or the yard, and they don't want to be removed. Some of these dudes are strong dudes. They just messed up. They just transgressed against the rule. But all these dudes ain't no cowards or busters. And some of them saying, "No, I ain't going for it, bro." Y'all. And so even when you're going to issue a DP, you may want to be strapped, depending on who you're going to issue this DP upon. And so they had weapons, but again, they were instructed not to use them unless he drew a weapon. So they just whooped him out. And I got my cell door hit again, and they dragged his ass out and threw him on a tier. And he was leaking. The whole tier had blood on it, bro. It was full of blood. And I didn't have any mercy on him, and I did because weapons could have been involved. But again, I don't like poking upon my people. You know, it really got to be something serious. You got to like cheese or something in order for me to want to poke upon you, bro. You got to be a rat or have done something to a child or a woman. Then no holds barred. This wasn't a situation. He was just off that Jennifer Aniston, but he had flouted and transgressed against a serious rule. And so what happened had to happen, but it could have been worse. It wasn't, because I have a good heart. And that's just the long and the short of it. Coming up, I'm going to do a series, speaking of the Los Angeles County Jail, other Los Angeles County Jail, the sheriffs there, who used to beat silly, and sometimes beat to the point of an unaliving incarcerated people there. They called it flashlight therapy, or we called it flashlight therapy, because the deputies there were known for taking out their flashlights, these big black flashlights, and busting you right upside the head into the white meat show. This was going on in the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s before it was exposed by a plant sent by the FBI. But they got away with this for decades. They had gangs there in the Los Angeles County Jail. The same people who would point their blood-soaked hand at me and my people and brown people for being in gangs. They were also in gangs gangs that unalive people, that sell contraband, that engage in freakish sex acts. A bunch of hypocrites. I'm going to get into that. Stay free, people!